Well, good evening. Welcome. It's the West Yorkshire Football Show. It is a Talk Town special. And tonight's headline by Mr. Stephen Downs is Town draw 3-3 in a crazy game against the crazy gang. Well, it certainly were a good few years ago, that crazy gang, but maybe not so much. Good showing from Wimbledon at the weekend in terms of the fans that come up. Steve, we will get on to that. We do also have another game to just briefly chat about. But how are you, my friend?
Yeah, not bad, mate. It's been a bit of a bleak weekend, hasn't it, weather-wise? But we're in the meat. What's the term now? The meek bleed. Oh my god, bleak midwinter. That's it. If I could talk, it's not gonna go well tonight if I can't talk, is it? But yeah, I had a good weekend, mate. What about yourself?
Yeah, steady away, mate. Can you put your teeth in just so
I'll
we can make
try.
sure we get you talking for the rest of the evening? No, mate, it's me, but we'll get there. Look, Steve, the show can only get better, my friend. The show can only get better. Okay,
Yeah.
so two games to talk about. We've obviously got the one yesterday. Town drawing 3 apiece. Lots to talk about on that one. But Luton Town away. Town had the opportunity to go second if all the scores went their way. And decided that wasn't going to happen, Steve. 2-1 Town loss. I know you didn't see much of the game, but you obviously read reports, etc., etc.
Yeah.
From my point of view, it didn't look like the Huddersfield Town team that had beaten Mansfield twice and Plymouth once in the couple of games before.
No, I mean there were a couple of admissions from the lineup. Bolker was out. He was in the squad, but he travelled with the squad, but he wasn't playing that night. Miller was injured, and of course we've learnt now since that he's going to be out for a couple of months. So, yeah, I saw the lineup for the team, and I was a bit. I wanted Bolker to play really. I mean, Luton are a good side, even in the position that they're in, and. I was a bit worried, to say the least. Obviously, we've not got great cover at centre back at the moment, with Murray Wallace coming back and Jack Watmore still seemingly nowhere near fit enough. So, and Joe Lowe has had a few, bad few weeks now. So obviously Joe
Well,
Lowe came into the team, and I think it showed that he wasn't, at full steam.
right, Steve, let's go through the lineup then. Obviously, Jolo has been injured, hasn't he? So he was thrown straight back into it. So your lineup was Goodman, Sorensen, Feeney, Lowe, Ruskin, Ledson, Harness, Wiles, Charles, Castledine, and Radalovic. That was your starting 11. Yes, Balker was rested. Now, I think people are 50-50 on this one, but he's a very, very important player for the team, which is quite obvious. And with his past injury problems and the travelling that he's doing at the moment down to South America for his international call-ups,
Yeah.
for me, I think it was the right thing to rest him. Okay, in the grand scheme of things, yes, Town lost, and would it have been a different game if he played? It might have been, but it also might not have been. And what happens if he gets injured? You know, Miller's now out injured again. Well, Anthony Evans came on in that game and got injured after 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Someone who has had his injury problems this year, Anthony Evans, it's proved its point that he's come on, he's got injured. If it same happens to Balker, with Lowe just coming back from fitness, Watmore out as well, it becomes a bit of a struggle back there. So for me, I understood it. I didn't mind it that much, but I do get the perspective from the other side of it, saying, "Well, he's been the best centre half at the moment, so why are we leaving him out?"
Yeah, I mean, I got I got the point with regards to the travel and all that. Definitely, I think if you were going to give him a rest, I'd have given him a rest against Wimbledon, because you look at Luton, they're a lot pacier side than what Wimbledon are. Wimbledon are what we saw yesterday, kind of what they are, and I thought you could have put Murray Wallace in there, say, or Joe Lowe would have been more comfortable yesterday than chucking him straight in against Luton. That was only my thoughts when I saw the lineup, and obviously, Luton, they've not been on a good run, but they clearly are playing for Jack Wilshere. That you can't say that they aren't. They put plenty of effort in games, and the one thing that they don't seem to do is score a lot of goals at home. Now, obviously, of course, it's a big game for Town, chance to go second. I've watched Town for near enough 15 years now, and we rarely turn up in big games for big moments that could be pivotal in our season. And we didn't, and Luton did turn up, and obviously we can touch on the goal slightly, but the second goal is just horrific from a you don't even have to be a non-league team to know that that's an horrific goal to concede. I mean, Goodman doesn't clear it. Feeney has 3 chances to clear it, doesn't clear it. I mean, we'll touch on the Wimbledon game more, but Josh Feeney has had a few rocky weeks. Well, not weeks, but he's had now 2 rocky games in a row, and maybe he's feeling the strain of being a very young centre back, having to do the majority of the bulk of work because his other centre backs are not available.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back to one of your points there. You said about resting Balka this weekend and playing Wallace over him, but you got to think, Steve, Tuesdays, it's a very quick turnaround after all them games. Saturday to Tuesday, it's a quick turnaround. So again, for me, it did make sense to give Balka that risk then. That's all I'm saying, but I 100% get your point. There's the multiple times that Town could have cleared, didn't exactly clear it. And I'm going to go to a comment here. Jed, I've seen yours as well. I'm going to put that up very shortly. Good evening, Mark. Thanks for joining us. Mark says, Luton puts on the back foot with very physical approach. It took us a while to get a foothold, and then we threw it away with that terrible second goal. It did seem as if what had happened was the way Town had played over the last couple of games before. It was Town that was it was Town that were playing against Town, basically. The Town that was playing was the team that Town had played, if that kind of makes sense. I think, Luton, they wanted it a little bit more. It was in the faces. I also didn't feel as if there was much of an outlet for Town at the moment. I'm going to come on to what I mean by that and the difference, what an outlet was in the Wimbledon game when we go through the lineup there, because you've got Castledine, Wiles, 2 central midfielders playing in wide roles, and Radulovic and Dion Charles up front. So yes, there's outlets with them too, but a different kind of outlet. We'll come on to that very shortly. Good morning to Jed from sunny Bondi Beach. Good morning, Jed. I hope you're very well, my friend. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for tuning in for everybody. Of course, get the comments in. We like to go through them. Get your thoughts in. Let us know what you thought about the Luton game, and let us know what you thought about the Wimbledon game as well. We've got that coming up. And just before we do move on to the Wimbledon game, we are going to say a good evening to Mr. Callum Scott. Callum, how are you, my friend? I hope you're well this weekend. We've just that.
You don't want Callum on.
Yeah, welcome back. Yeah, forget it. Anyway, welcome back, Callum, after that very brief disappearance that you've had there. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a good weekend. We just touched on the Luton game. We've gone through the lineup. Did you see much of it? What's your thoughts? By the way, we've not spoke about Castledine's goal yet because that just needs a bit of a section itself. Yeah. So we'll come on to that one. But everything else, Cal, what did you make of that one on Tuesday?
I mean, obviously, I've only just tuned in, so I'm not sure what ground you've already covered. But I was disappointed in the way that we went about the game. I don't think we went after them as much as we maybe should have done. They were smart enough after a 5-0 loss, and we made them look quite good. We once again, we've given them too much respect, which is true of a lot of teams we've played this year, I think, in that we've given them a lot of respect to a lot of sides that don't necessarily deserve it. And I think this was another good example of that, where we could have gone for the kill, and we've, for some reason, we've not done it.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like that. We maybe Town just Yeah, I think maybe they were a little bit tired. Do you think, Cal, after the recent games that they've had? Is that a fair comment?
Maybe, but that's at this point in the season, can we really say that they were tired? You know, you're professional footballers, and you're not even you're like a third of the way through the season. If you're tired now, Christ alive, we're going to be like, it's going to be game over by end of the season, isn't it?
I just wonder whether not physically, but maybe having the euphoria of winning the 3 games on the bounce, and then you've got the come down because you're having to travel to Luton on a Tuesday night, which nobody really wants to do. Let's be honest. But you are also right, Cal. They are professional footballers, and they had a chance to go second in the league. Before you came on, Cal, and I think supported Town slightly longer than me, but we never turn up for these chances, do we? How many times do we sit in stadiums and think, do you know what? We could take a chance here. Yeah. We could go second, put the rest of the league on a back foot. Oh, we've lost 3-0.
I remember a particularly excellent one. We lost quite horrifically to Wigan under David Wagner at home on a Tuesday night, and everyone were like, "Oh, this is the one. We could go up into the top spot here if Newcastle drop points," and we got absolutely done over by Wigan, who I think were in the bottom 3 at the time. You're like, "Oh no."
I remember loads of times it happened under Lee Clark as well. Like I know we're going back in time here, but bloody hell, like every other week we could have gone top at league under Lee Clark, and yet we just
didn't.
Got battered or turned in a 0-0 crap draw.
Yeah.
Look, gents, we can reminisce all night, but we do have an important topic to talk about, though. Castledine, that free kick was absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And I'm saying it now, goal of the season for Town. Goal of the season. Forget whatever comes next. No one's taking that other Cal.
You can't. If it had gone sort of top right, maybe, because that is a good free kick, but you know, there will be better goals. But he's gone top left. You shouldn't be able to score from that angle. You just shouldn't. And somehow it's got it's such a beaut, honestly.
I think, Steve, the goalkeeper had just taken a bit of a step to his left-hand side, hadn't he, as the ball was being hit. So it's wrong footing, but still, the amount of the dip, the curve, and just beautifully in that top corner, it were absolutely stunning.
Oh yeah, let's be honest. Like Cam Asher and Leo were going head to head for goals of the season so far. Let's be absolutely honest. I mean, I think technically, the goal he scored away at Sunderland is to have the technique to do what he did there is the best goal of this season. But the free kick is just stunning. I mean, there were a lot of pressure at that point in the game, because obviously we not played very well. Kind of he seemed to be the bright spark in the game, which he has been a number of times. Away at Exeter is another example where he scores and he gets us going. And we'll come on to the Wimbledon game again. He makes a big difference to our team. Unfortunately, the thing for Leo is sometimes, because of his technical ability with the academy and stuff that he's grown up in, some of our lads are just not on right wavelength to him, because he can do stuff with the football that, well, I mean, going back to like Emile Smith-Rowe could do some of that stuff. He's just a great talent, and unfortunately, we won't see him in a Town shirt after this season. So we better all enjoy him. That's what I would say.
Yeah, but that's what loans are about, and look, we've got to be grateful to see it. And what a free kick it was. Mark says top bins Castledine. It was absolutely superb. Okay. I don't know. I didn't mean to press that one. I'll come on to that one, Jed. But Mark had decided to put another comment in there, so appreciate that one, Mark. So let's go. Mark, quickly. Thoughts on the possible handball in the penalty in the first half? Yeah, it probably was, but
it's a penalty. It's a penalty. And Lomvik's a little. Yeah, I can't believe what he put on Twitter trying to bait Town fans after the game. Yeah. Come on.
At the end of the day, gents, Town didn't do enough that game. They didn't do enough.
So if it comes down to decisions like that, then you've already lost the game, really, haven't you?
Yeah.
Essentially, you've got to put the ball in the back of the net more than the opponent, such is the game of football.
Oh, thanks, Michael Owen.
Good night.
Cheers for
See you
that.
later, lads. Nice one. See you.
Yeah. Cheers, Cal. Cheers, Cal. Right, okay, let's move on then, gents. Terry 9:30. Good evening, lads. Well, back down to earth with a bang this weekend. Ledson is absolutely garbage yesterday, and I'd send Goodman back to Palace first thing in the morning. Okay, so that has set the tone for the game that we all witnessed yesterday. Okay, so let's go through the lineup. This is how Town lined up yesterday. Goodman in goal, Sorensen, Feeney, Balke, Ruskin, Gooch, Ledson, Castledine, Charles, Ashia, Radelovic. So no low altogether was completely dropped. Gooch into the middle of the park and Ashia making his first league start. Now, when I saw that come through, my initial thought was, oh, we're going to see Castledine in a more natural position through the middle and Gooch out wide right. But it wasn't that way. And in all fairness, I thought Gooch had a fantastic game in the middle of the park. He looked like he really wanted it. Carl, what did you make up of the lineup?
Interesting, to be fair, and quite, I should say, sort of quite bold. But for me, it looked like a lineup that was trying to force us into another tactical change. Maybe just the way it looked to be fitting together. I don't really know how to even describe the way it looked. At the time of reading the team sheet, you think, right, Christ, who's going out? But it's a bold decision to drop. Or is it? I've lost my bottle here halfway through because I sort of agree with it and I sort of don't.
Just tell us what you really think, Cal.
Drop the bottle. What, to drop Joe Low?
I think it's poor form. I really do. Because quite a good performer, I think.
He didn't play well. No. He hasn't played well for weeks.
Let's not forget he's just coming back from an injury. You know, Balke was rested during the week because we don't want him to get injured.
Yeah.
And there's also an opportunity here for Joe Low he's got some game time. He's done 90 minutes. Rest him. Get him back. Now, it was said in the press conference afterwards that it was a selection decision. So, Steve, what did you make up of the lineup?
Yeah, I thought I was glad that Balke was back again. Before Cal came on, Cal, go watch the first 5 minutes of my reasoning for playing Balke in the other game. But I felt I had a conversation with somebody who said that they thought that they'd played Gooch in midfield, and I was like, well, he's done it before. I know he has done it before. But I wasn't convinced. The reason why I wasn't convinced, and Gooch is my favourite Town player, by the way. I absolutely love the lad. I think he battles hard, he tries, he'll do whatever the manager asks him to do. But you're playing against Wimbledon, who, let's be honest, are not the best team. Gooch is defensively minded anyway because of his position that he normally plays. We know Ledson's defensively minded. And so you've got two players there that are just going to naturally sit back, and that's why I would have played either Castledine in the middle or even Ben Wiles in the middle. Now, he didn't do that. He decided to play Gooch and Ledson with Castledine out wide and Ashia. I was really pleased that Ashia got a start because I feel like in the performances he's put in the past, he's deserved one. Now, maybe through that performance, people will say, well, that clearly shows he's not a starter. But he was a thorn in Wimbledon's side all afternoon. And I agree with you, Ken. I thought Gooch did do well in centre midfield. However, I just thought it was a slightly strange lineup in terms of the what the task of the game was. We were always going to have the most possession. We were always going to be expected to be on the front foot. And the statistics show that, by the way. But I would have liked Gooch to be in his natural position and then say Castledine through the middle or Ben Wiles. That's
right. Okay. Well, you said Gooch is a more natural position, which is right back. So you drop Sorensen.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So what I was saying earlier, Steve, was Town a different kind of outlet, and having Ashier there, Cal, I don't know if you agree that against Luton, Town didn't have some kind of pace out wide for an outlet, but Wimbledon they did, and I think that was a really positive thing because he can take you up the field, and if you need to do a clearance, he's fast enough to get round his man. And I tell you what, I think Azimwi, the right back, he struggled, and at one point they had to put Seddon on the other side to try and deal with him. It was an absolute different class for that pace, and that outlet for Town was incredible. But he did run into quite a lot of areas, dead ends. But again, he's a young lad. He's got a lot to grow. Okay, so that was his lineup. That's what we thought. Again, we've seen Town having to change things up. Balka was in there again, which is great to see. First half, Steve, Town just dominated. They absolutely dominated, and it was a fantastic start.
We had shots. We were, I wouldn't say we were playing the slick football that we saw at Mansfield, but naturally Wimbledon were going to sit back, and we did take the game to them. Ruskin got some decent crosses in. Like I said, Castledine, he was tormenting that left hand side all the time. In terms of, I don't think they could handle his trickery. Bojan were getting the ball down and doing some nice layoffs. Didn't see a lot of Charles, to be honest. Charles was quieter, but I thought overall it was a really, really positive start to the game. And for the majority of the first half, and then, their goal comes out of nowhere. I mean, I've watched the highlights back, and it's just Bolka just doesn't get hold of is it Brown, and then they just slip a ball through, and it's one pass and a goal, and it's just really disappointing because I thought up to them we deserved. Well, we did the crossbar with Ledson's header. I thought we deserved at least a 1, if not 2 goal head start, to be honest.
Yeah. Carl, would you agree? I mean, that first goal in the lead up to it, Ledson's trying to win himself a free kick in the middle of the park. Ruskin's out of position, which means Balka's in a bit of no man's land after trying to beat his man. Unfortunately, didn't do it that time, but Ledson, who was just on the ground, is then having to cover the position where Ruskin should have been. So a mistake from a couple of players, and Town are 1-0 down as quickly as that.
Yeah, it's a mess, but how many times have we seen it now? Ledson's supposed to be the leader in this side. Right. You're supposed to be the man that's leading from the front. Ultimately, the domino effect there is that I don't know if we can use the phrase cock up, but his cock up has led to a chain of events. They're not listening, are they? A chain of events that's led to us going 1-0 down after a period of sustained dominance in that game. They had no right to go 1-0 up, given we were absolutely peppering them for possession, for shots, passes, everything. We were all over them. And you go 1-0 down because of one stupid mistake from a supposed leader in the side, which drags another player out of position, means that another player's got to get back further than he would have done before. It's a knock-on effect that's led to them conceding a goal that then sucks all of the energy out of that first half, because you've had this period of sustained pressure. You think, yeah, right, at some point it's going to give. We're going to score a goal. We'll go 1-0 up here. The opposite happens. All that's gone. It's out the window.
Yeah, and then we start rushing stuff to get back into the game then.
So lacking in leadership at the minute. When the chips are down, no one knows what to do. Everyone's looking around for a leader that just isn't there. Because nobody's putting their hand up and going, right, lads, come on, head up. Let's get after this. Because how can you when you're the one that's at fault for the goal?
Okay, so going into, in fact, just a couple of comments. Joe, I'm going to put yours up. Evening, fellas. A bit late to the show tonight. Hope you're all well. Hope you are too, Joe. He also says, thought Ashley was class. Just needs to get his head up a little bit more. Definitely a starter. Jed, I've got a comment from you. Lord, I've got yours as well to go through. And I think another one from Jed as well. Jed also agrees with you, Cal. We haven't got a leader. That's the problem. Okay, so going into half-time, on my commentary, I was having a chat with Dan, who I do my commentary with, and I go back from when I've coached in the past or played. It was hammering it down. It was absolutely hammering it down. How many times did we see players slip? How many times did we see players head the ball and it not go the right way? How many times did we see players scuff the ball when clearing? I wanted to see more whipped balls in the box, but instead we kept floating them in. I think sometimes we like to try and play lovely football, which is great to watch, but I just felt as if maybe, especially in that first half, coming into the second, that ball just needs to be hit hard and low into that area because it can come off anyone. It can absolutely. Wimbledon tried it a few times and Town dealt with it just about, but I think there were also a couple of times where, Town actually give away a corner or a throw because the ball being whipped in and it's not gone where Town wanted it to go. I felt as if the crosses that were coming in, Wimbledon just ate it up quite nicely. Ate it up quite nicely. What are your two thoughts on that one, Cal?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But ultimately, I think we were a bit of a mismatch up front anyway, because the way that we asked the players to set up there, that front three works really well. I think of Asher, Bojan, and
Giles.
Oh no, he was behind, wasn't he?
Was he?
Well, this is one of the conversations, Cal.
Nobody knows.
In the commentary, when I comment, and if anyone listens, you can actually go on a chat. But a bit like we have the comments on here, you can chat, you can ask questions, tell us your thoughts on games and stuff like that. I went a few people asking about formations, and some would say, well, it could be a 4-4-2, it could be a 4-2-2-2, it could be a 4-2-3-1, or it could actually be I think at one point it looked like a 4-1-3-2, but not symmetrical. Basically what we're seeing is whoever's playing on the right hand side as the right winger actually comes in through the middle to be the number 10, where then the right back should be going to be the right winger. Then now we're seeing actually the two strikers, rather than one of them dropping in like it was Alfie May quite a fair bit of the time. Now both strikers are going, which has opened that space up for the right winger to come in as a number 10, and the left winger still as a left winger. So you've got a left winger, two strikers, a 10, no right midfielder, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
one short. Somewhere we were always one short because we didn't have the cam to link it up because the cam's being a striker.
Well, the cam is now coming in from the right wing, so you've also got no outlet over on that side.
We were always one short.
Right back. Yeah.
Which is mind-blowing to me because we've got it right. When we've won these games, when we won it at Mansfield, we got the tactics right. We had it. It worked. Everyone was going into the right places to make it work. And you've not even dropped a player from that lineup. You've just moved them around a bit.
Well, no, that's not right.
No, Steve, you don't agree?
No. Well, basically, Harness had to come out because he's got 5 yellows. So Harness was dropped. Obviously, there was no Miller, and I think Miller makes a massive difference down the left-hand side. So I get what Cal's saying. I mean, I don't like this right coming into whoever's on the right comes in as a number 10 because I don't think our right-hand side is actually like the most. That's why I would have played. If you're going to do it, you've got to play Gooch at right back because I don't think Sorensen is strong enough on his own on that entire sort of length of the pitch. You've got to have a really, really good right back for me if you're going to do that, and that's why I would play Gooch. But yeah, I just feel, and I agree with you, Ken. Like the one thing that we did really well against Mansfield and Plymouth is we played the ball really well in terms of around the edge of the box. And against Wimbledon, we just didn't do that. We were putting these floaty crosses in, and like they've got absolutely massive centre backs. I mean, that Johnson, he must be 6'3" and built like anything. You know, he's he were going to sort of eat them crosses up for for days. The big problem that we had is when they went 1-0 up, they thought, they'd hit the jackpot, didn't they? Because they could just sit back then. And thankfully, obviously, we did get back into it within 40 seconds at second half. But, yeah, just frustrating.
Okay, so Nana Paul's put this. There was a point where it was a 4-3-3 in a short time with Ashley joining Bojan and Charles, and it seemed to change consistently through the first half. So a few people think it keeps changing. Right, gents, let's move on to the second half. And before I do, we've got a couple of notes that I wanted to go through. Charles had a one-on-one. Should he square it? Should he score it? What do we make of that, Cal?
He tried to chip it and failed.
Yeah, it's one of them, innit? One of them decisions that we've got wrong many times this season. When you're in that moment, are you selfish or are you unselfish? For me, always look to square it because there's more chance of it going in the back of the net if you square it. Or have the conviction to put your laces through it. Don't try and chip it and be clever because, one, it's not going to work against a goalkeeper that size. And two, that's not a player with the confidence to be able to achieve that right now.
I thought the goalkeeper came out really well. Actually made himself massive, as you mentioned, Cal. But yeah, potentially could have done something better. Did either of you two see the reaction after the goal at Wimbledon score between Gooch and Sorensen?
Yeah.
After the first goal or the second goal?
The first goal, because Sorensen went on for the second goal.
I didn't see that. No.
Okay, Cal. I wasn't too sure on what that conversation was about.
No, but this again for me comes back down to the lack of leadership on that pitch. Because when there isn't a defined leader, everyone wants to be boss. And they'll rip chunks out of each other. And that's how we've gone into a game where 3 times we've had to recover. It's not people reading into a 3-3 draw and going, whoa, that must have been a cracker. If you're Wimbledon, maybe, yeah. But not for us. We really should have lost that game.
Yeah, well, we nearly did.
Well, exactly. But based on the amount based on the amount of possession, the stats, we should have won it easily. But we were essentially a goal down consistently throughout that game. And it's a lack of leadership on that pitch that's led to little pockets where players can have a go at each other and we'll have a go at each other instead of going through one leader or the manager. And so it's fractured. It's all fractured.
Okay, I'm not too sure what Sorensen had done wrong, but he was taken off at half time. Ben Wiles comes on, Town start well the second, get the goal, and you think game on now. Think game on, don't we, Cal?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're coming and scoring in the 46th minute, you think, right, he's put a rocket up at half time, and we're going to come out and do all the things right that we did wrong in the first half. And for, I don't know, what is it, 3 minutes we did it?
Certainly did. I've got quite a good few comments to go through at some point here. In fact, I've got to do a bit of scrolling to get back to some of these comments. A lot of them are probably to go through maybe as we've finished talking about the game.
We're going to talk about the goal again.
I think it might pop up in conversation. 3 free kick given away, and edge of the area just after Town get themselves back in it. Probably a bit of a silly free kick, and Town concede again and go down. Steve, thoughts around conceding that second?
Well, Ledson gives away the foul. And it's not a very good foul to give away, let's be absolutely honest. Goodman lines up his wall, and he did it in the first half. And he did it in the first half, and he lined up a ball in the first half. And I thought, you're not putting your wall in the right place. I mean, I'm not a goalkeeper, by the way, but I can quite clearly see whether a wall is in the right position or not. And I don't think that the ball was very good for the free kick. But then I'm pretty sure, right, from the age of maybe 3, if you want to play in net, you are told if you make a save, don't palm it back into your own box, because if the defenders are not like on it to get there first, the attacking team will always get there first and stick the ball away. And it just cost us. And just like the first goal where it sucked all the energy out, the second goal, it just killed all momentum again. And it just didn't need to happen, from the free kick being given away to Goodman saving it like he has, and then doing a weird forward roll and just standing there and just letting him put the ball in the net. And I'm not surprised. I think it was Gooch and Josh Feeney, I think, and they had a right go at him. I'm not surprised. I mean, they could have got to the ball quicker, admittedly, but nah, not for me. He's making far too many errors now, and God knows what Nichols must be thinking on bench, because I'm telling you now, 2 of those goals yesterday wouldn't have gone in if Nichols had been in net. And he's not adding anything to us going forward. Like, this is supposed to be a keeper that apparently he's good with the ball at his feet and can get us moving quickly. That's not happening.
Cal, what's your thoughts on it? Steve mentioned there about the wall. Lee Grant mentioned it in the press conference as well afterwards. He wanted to relook at it and see where he'd positioned his wall. But either way, should he be palming that one away?
No, not a chance. That free kick is placed in a position where you shouldn't. I say this after obviously we've spoke about Leo Castledown's absolutely wonder goal. You should not be able to score from a position like that, and he wouldn't have done if the goalkeeper had done the very, very basics of what he's supposed to do and kept hold of the ball, or at least parried it away to the side. He's diving to the side anyway. I don't know how, unless he somehow sees it late, which is miraculous considering he set up his own wall to ensure that didn't happen. He dives to the side that the ball should be parried away at anyway, and it's that very dive that means that he couldn't get back across quick enough to get to the rebound that was just poked in by Orsi.
Yeah, Orsi, yeah.
Yeah. It sort of whips round the wall, doesn't it?
Yes.
Which, if you positioned your own wall, is diabolical anyway. Whips round the wall, but it's on target, but it's not got much pace behind it.
No.
Catch it. You're a goalkeeper. I'm sorry, but consistently poor. And I had seen a lowlights reel for Owen Goodman when we actually signed him. I don't know who made it, but somebody had made one. A fan of another club of his, possibly Wimbledon, to be fair. And it was like mistakes like this. And unfortunately, you cannot make mistakes like this. As a goalkeeper, you just can't, because for every good save he's pulled off, we've got a catalogue of errors. Owen, not good, man.
So what do we make of this? What Mark's just said. Goodman seems to have been really affected by the Barnsley match. His confidence has gone down, and errors have crept in. Unfortunately, do we think that Cal it has led from that Barnsley match?
I think they were always in there. We just maybe hadn't seen them. I don't necessarily think that the Barnsley match is a catalyst for it as much as it is an inevitability that we were going to have a game like that, considering his, shall we say, patchy record beforehand. He is prone to as good a save as he is a blunder, and that's just been a pattern throughout his career. So I don't necessarily think that it's since the Barnsley game, but it was certainly highlighted in the Barnsley game that he's got this sort of thing in him that I don't think we've ever seen from Lee Nichols, really.
No. I don't think we can blame. Sorry.
No. Go on, Steve.
I agree with what Cal's just said. I mean, the one thing, the reason probably, Cal, why it's not come up for many fans before is because obviously when he got promoted with Wimbledon last year and he had 24 clean sheets. Now, if you sat behind a defence that hardly concedes a goal and don't concede many shots on target, then you're always going to look decent as a goalkeeper, aren't you?
Yeah.
The thing with Lee Nichols is for 5 years he's been at the back of a crap defence. So like an half decent defence with Lee Nichols behind you, you start to look something like the problem that I have with Lee is he doesn't set the team off fast enough. But his all round of a game, he's shot stopping, he's coming for the ball in the area. I mean, at the end of the game, they have a corner. Goodman comes for it and flaps like mad at it, drops it, and it only takes one lad to stick a boot in there, and it goes in, and we lose the game. So I don't see how he can't put Nichols back in net now. Whatever it says, I mean, Grant is quite adamant that it doesn't say in the loan agreement that we have to play him for an amount of games. So for me, if that is correct, then he's got to be out the side for a length of time. I mean, I'll be honest, I think he's only playing the amount of games that he has since the Barnsley game because Chapman's injured.
Well, Chapman's back in and around it now, to be fair, as well. Lord says, he put this in earlier, Goodman out, rather have Len Goodman in. Interesting comment, but I think the majority of the Town fans are now saying that they want Lee Nichols back in there. So it's an interesting one, what happens in the next coming game. So, Town 2-1 down. Ben Wiles has come on. Looked like pretty busy. We've had a little bit of a chipped cross, goes over the two strikers. Ben Wiles just behind them, making that nice third man run. And Town are back in it again. Is that belief again, Steve?
Yeah, probably the only headed goal Ben Wiles will score is in his entire career. But it was a good header beyond that. And much like when we scored the first goal, I thought, right, well, let's take the game to Wimbledon again. Let's go on and go get the winner. He made a couple of substitutions, brought Alfie May on, and we looked half decent. But yeah, I mean, we just did the typical thing that we'd done for the two goals before that. You think you get somewhere and then you get sucker punched again, don't you?
Cal, it did just seem each time Town got themselves back into the game, they might go on and win it though as well. Did you feel that from the Cowshed South stand? Did you feel that any kind of momentum? Did you still feel as if Town were on top?
Yeah, I don't think it speaks volumes, really. I don't think there was a point where I thought that Town weren't on top throughout the entire contest. I thought we were on top throughout the entire game. But at the same time, we didn't do enough. And that was evident as well because, yes, we were on top and, yes, we looked threatening. But we were always just one or two touches away from a mistake. And the closer we got to full time and the more the scoreline changed, there were a lot more trepidation, I think, creeping in and a few more mistakes. And you start to think, well, what's going to happen now? Because we're coming towards the end of the game. And I was 20 minutes to go. They're net for 3-2. And I thought, well, that's it. We've lost this game. And, a game that we said on this podcast was a must win.
Yeah.
So we felt like it was a must win. We had the confidence that Town was essentially still going to go and win the game, but as you just mentioned, Cal, they concede a third, and everyone's kind of scratching their heads, thinking, "How has this game happened like this?" Steve, the third one goes in. What do you make of it when obviously Ryan Johnson heads? Ruskin gives away the free kick. Could Balka do better? Is it a silly free kick? Does Balka need to do a bit more? Or is it just a good header? Is it a nice whipped ball into the box, which is probably what Town should have been doing a little bit more, and a cracking header?
So it's a daft free kick to give away when you know that Wimbledon are a big, tall brick, house team, and kind of the whipping the balls into the box from set pieces is exactly what they love. So it was daft free kick again to give away. But yeah, you have to give credit to Johnson for getting his head to it. However, I do believe that if Lee Nichols would have been in net, he'd have saved that. I don't think Goodman gets anywhere near to the ball or as close as what he should. I genuinely think Lee Nichols saves that third goal going in. And I'm not just picking on Goodman because I'm having a day where I want to pick on Goodman. I'd rather sit here and we win 5-0 and I don't mention Goodman's name at all, but that hasn't happened. The marking in the box, Josh Feeney doesn't do his job marking the player he's marking, and it ends up in the back of the net. Now, I think unlike Cow, I'd have to slightly disagree in the terms of I always thought, even though they got a third, there would always a chance for us to get a third because of just how many chances we were still creating against them. Like, it worked like a shutout. Do you know what I mean? They were still very, very defensively shaky. I mean, it's an interesting stat now that I think, is it Plymouth that is the worst defence in the league with 29 conceded. Before that game Saturday, we conceded 22. We were the third worst defence in the league, and we were playing against the second worst defence in the league. So
we're currently joint fourth for most goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark's just put up our goals against record is the fourth worst in the division. Defence really needs to work on in general.
Yeah.
Okay, so Town concede the third, but yet there's still, we feel the hope. Alfie May is on, making himself busy. We get a nice crossing from the left. Radalovic up highest, who I thought had a quiet second half, gets the header down. And Alfie May doing what any good poacher would do and puts the ball into the back of the net. And Cal, again, from the Cowshed South stand, we're thinking we might still go and win this game.
Yeah. When the third when our third goes in, you're like, right, Christ, this is one of them games, isn't it? What can happen here? So yeah, but we need to do more. We need to be more urgent. We need to come out with the same energy that we started the second half with.
So is that something that we need to do like consistently throughout a game? Because the games that Town won 3-1, all them games that were involved in, Mansfield twice, Plymouth, the tempo was incredible. That was the kind of tempo that Town were looking for. I don't think it was exactly slow at the weekend. But
it was slow, but it needs to be almost reactive to the situation. When it's 3-3 with 86 minutes left, get it up. Go for it. Got a game to win and got time to do it in. It's not reactive. It's the common criticism that we've heard is that we can be quite ponderous this season and we're not reactive to events, let alone being reactive to the teams that we're playing against, because that's fine. You've got a week to prepare for that. But being reactive in the moment is something that we are really struggling with at the minute. I think that I don't know the word other than the ability to diversify the way that we're playing mid-game to suit us to go and get a result. We can't shut a game out and we can't go for a win.
No. So, go on, Steve.
I'm finding it really interesting, by the way, how in the last 5 minutes of the game, now I always hate chucking subs on for 5 minutes to go because I think that they can't really get into the game. But I found it really interesting how he didn't put Joe Taylor on. And I think there's a bit of a narrative, like, I don't want to create narratives, but I think there is a bit of a clear narrative happening where Alfie May came out after the game and said that he's had the most difficult 5 weeks of his career. He said that on BBC Radio Leeds, how he's been really down. He's been absolutely desperate to get back on the pitch here. It's been sat in the stands, and it was quite a revealing, honest interview, to be absolutely honest. Not something that you normally hear from, your typical football sort of quote, to be honest. So that was refreshing. However, and I don't know whether this is true, but apparently with 2 minutes to go, Taylor went down the tunnel and didn't reappear. Now, I don't know whether that was true, and I've no idea whether anybody can confirm that. But I think there's a bit of a narrative of, all right, Alfie May knows that he dropped to numpty against Wickham, and he wants to obviously try and repay some faith back in him. And I don't know what's happening with Joe Taylor, because Grant just doesn't seem to trust him to be on the pitch, to be effective.
I saw him on the pitch after clapping the fans, to be fair. I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, gents, let's just let's wrap the two games up. What do you make of what I'm about to say now? Essentially, there's no team in that league that wants to go and win that league right now. Everyone is very, very inconsistent. There's not a team at the moment that's wanting to go and win the league, is there? And I think that plays into the hands of Huddersfield Town at the moment because, okay, it's probably a frustrating bit of a negative that Town drew at the weekend. But despite that, they showed so much spirit to keep getting back into the game and actually with a better side. And the goals all come from mistakes. Mistakes can be cut out and they can get over that. And maybe there's still a lot more positive to come and going, actually. No one wants to go and win this league. We can be that team to go and do it. There's still massive opportunities to get to the top. I mean, on Tuesday, the case was we could be second. Okay, we're now on Sunday, and we're 3 points off the playoffs. But still, we're 3 points off the playoffs. It's only 5 points away off second spot or something like that. So there's still lots of opportunities here.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at Stockport. I mean, everybody thought Stockport would romp the division this year, and they've been poor, to be honest. Like, ever since they've come to our place, they've dropped off like a stone.
I'm gearing up for a belter here, but I disagree with you, to be fair. And
okay.
I'm annoyed that we're in this position where we are this season, given everything that was built up about this season and the squad, and we've got a manager that's built his own staff, and we're going to go and we know what the expectations are, and we're going to do it, and we're not. And there's mistakes. Yes, mistakes can be cut out, but we are making the same mistakes every week. And yes, we've won some good and impressive games, but we've lost and drawn some equally as ridiculous games. And if we want to be, yes, we're in a league, nobody wants to win this league. That's fine. That's not an excuse, though. We should be the ones that want to go and win the league. Put the consistent form forward. Brilliant. Nobody wants to go and win the league. All the easier to rock it up there then, but we're not. We're sitting outside the playoffs with a month to go before Christmas. And after Christmas, it ratchets up. People think, right, Christ, we've got to get on here. We're going to spend big in January, get some signings in, and this league will look very different to what it does now. If we are not capable of getting up into that top six with the squad that we've got now, then we won't be going up, because there'll be sides that are in there that will strengthen in January, that will spend the money that they need to, and will solidify their place. If we're not even in there, we're not going to be one of those sides, unfortunately. I can't see it happening, and I'm skating around it because we had such a good time last week, and it was all so lovely and brilliant and positive, and I loved it. I really did. But Lee Grant's not my man. I'm sorry, he's just not.
Lee Grant,
it's just not the answer, because he's got good answers when everything's going well, but when it's not going well, which it hasn't been for a long time, we can pretend that it's good in the 3-1 wins at Mansfield and we're doing really well, and brilliant, really good. When it's not good, we've got nothing. We've got no plan B. And then all you listen to in the post-match press conferences is the FA guidebook to being a manager. That's all you get. He speaks almost as if he's not a part of the team. They need to reflect, and they need to do better, and the squad need to be better. And it's your squad. You need to be better.
The group. I think goes on here as a group. We need to do better.
We all need to do better. Okay, gents, right.
To be honest with you, lads, because we've gone from here to here.
Okay, gents, let's go through some comments, and we've got a couple of games just to talk about very quickly because I'm sure we're all ready for I'm a Celeb. I know I certainly am. Jed says, are we just a team full of snowflakes? We know backbone when it matters. And we've gone through Lords. Jed again, Castledine too good for this league. He could be recalled back in January. He fears. Lindsay Scouse, we spoke about the goalkeeper and we saw all your comments. Trust me, we saw them all coming in.
I think before we got to the goalkeeper.
Rewind 20 minutes. Rewind 20 minutes. And watch it.
We haven't got a leader. That's the problem. That's been said quite a few times, Jed, and on here. Toshibax, thank you very much for commenting. We're just not very good. No plan from the top of the club. Knee-jerk decisions over and over again. Signing players that can't pass. Best striker in the league on the bench. No coherence from top to bottom. What else have we got in here? Lack of a leadership. That's hurting us. We've had Marks in there. Jed again, his Goodman's position untamed now. What do you guys think by Westway last form and season? Chapman deciding the facts. Two poor goalkeepers, to be honest. Nichols with slow motion saves and Goodman doing his best Ryan Schofield impression. What else have we got on here? Chapman ain't the answer. I think that was regarding what you said, Steve. League One forever. Getting back to having a leader to drive us. So Jed very keen on having a leader. No consistency since the end of August. It can't go on like this, can it?
It can.
It can.
It can. Northern football, corporate football. Oh, lots of great comments coming in now, aren't we? So thank you very much for all these.
Nobody's watching I'm a Celeb tonight.
No, we're still going on. We've got some more points to go through. Mark says we need to stand out. We need to get standout performance to 3 points at Cardiff to give me confidence. We can go get in a position to challenge. We've struggled in games against the top 10. Back to the classroom. Huddersfield 3. Chance to return to the Championship next season, Thomas. I'm not too sure about that one. What's happened to Kevin's podcast? Not too sure on them one, Joe. Maybe we'll have one very shortly. Okay. Gents, 2 games coming up this week. One in the EFL Pointless Trophy game, but if Town get to the final, we'll all be there in person doing a podcast, I'm sure of it. Lincoln away on Tuesday evening. Have we got any hope in that one? Obviously, Town need to be going and winning that one. Can they get a bit of silverware this week? This year. But Lincoln are a good side. Lincoln are a very good side.
Yeah, I think that we do need to go and try and win it and try and get some momentum back. But in the grand scheme of things, do we all really care about it as much as the league? No. But, I think we need to use it as a momentum boost, don't we? Really. I'd like to see somebody like, and we're not going to see him, but I'd like to see somebody like Marcus McGuane come in and try and play or whatever. I think Murray Wallace.
He's injured, Steve.
I know. Well, apparently he's been back up grass for about 2 months. But I don't know what that means.
No, well, he keeps having just little bits of just keep setting him back. So he's injured. So there is quite a few players injured at the moment. I'll go through that list for you if you want, Steve.
Remind everybody.
I have got it up in front of me. So I say I've got it up in front of me. I just need to load the screen. But right, so these are your current injuries. Mikel Miller hamstring, Anthony Evans knee, Marcus McGuane groin, Herbie King groin, Jack Watmore calf, Will Alves foot, Zepiquino Redmond knee. So yeah, there's a few injuries there. Cal, 2 games I mentioned, Lincoln in the cup and then Northampton away. 2 games that needs to be won. Again, we're talking about it again. Need to be won.
Yeah, 2 games that need to be won. Every game needs to be won, but yes, specifically 2 games that absolutely need to be done. One means more than the other. I will say. You've missed out Cardiff though.
Yeah, what's happened to Cardiff?
You've missed out Cardiff on the 6th. Is it postponed or what?
Well, that being postponed.
Half 12, 6th of December.
You can tell that we're all super fans of the club, can't you?
I hate this game. Anyway, if we have to go to Cardiff instead of Northampton, I'll be really unhappy because I think we could beat Northampton.
You already booked your coach down to Northampton.
We could beat Northampton. We got done over by Cardiff.
Sorry, yeah, I got it in front of me, it being postponed for some reason, but no, Cardiff. Sorry, I do apologise.
So Lincoln, I don't care. I mean, yes, use it as an momentum boost, but it probably won't work. Try and beat them, but ultimately, whatever. Try not to get injured. Basically, is the message in that game. And Cardiff, Jesus Christ, what? Oh, that's going to be a great early afternoon kickoff for us, isn't it? I mean, they're top of the table now. Who did they beat? Mansfield beat them 3-0, so they've done one better than us. So on paper, they'll beat us 1-0.
I'm not looking forward to the Cardiff game. If I'm honest,
I think that's going to be one of them town performances where we beat them like 4-0. And everyone's like, "Oh, I'm not looking forward to that. Oh, they're just too good." And then we just pull it out of the bag and then lose to Northampton. And you're like, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's just remember we were all sat on this podcast a year ago, and we said, "Oh, we'll definitely beat Northampton." And then Tom East turns up, scores against us, and we're all like,
"You promised you wouldn't speak about that ever again."
Well,
you said you'd never bring that back up again, and you just.
I do
apologise. Yeah, Cardiff before Northampton. Sorry, I had it postponed in front of me. I don't know why. Just the website that we're using. Gents, we did want to speak about the sporting director, but I don't think we've got enough time because we don't want to bore people, and we've all got things to do.
You might have.
Yeah. Fair.
Pause. I'm a celeb and start again. I'm ready to go.
So, sporting directors come in. Chris Markham. I think we were 50-50 split on here in case of do we need it or do we not. Now, I felt as if a sporting director or a director of football would be a good thing, and I'm glad to see one in. Steve?
Yeah, I think I was probably on the other side of the 50-50, but not for the reasons that I think a lot of people would think. I mean, what I am is hopefully he'll come in and give the club a bit more direction from the footballing side of things, whether that's style of play, whether that's bringing players in. It just needs some direction because I don't believe that Lee Grant is experienced enough to run the whole football operation like he has done for the last 6 months. So I'm pleased that we brought him in. It's a weird one with him because you look at his record and he's been at Bolton Wanderers and he got them promoted out of League Two. Well, I'm pretty sure us three could have probably got Bolton promoted out of League Two if we're being completely honest with the budget that he had made available to him. However, on the flip side, you look at some of the people that have mentioned his name and I tell you what, there's some really good comments in there. I mean, Gareth Southgate literally praises him for the reason that we beat Colombia in the World Cup on penalties. But there's various other coaches around the country that have said some very, very good things about him. So he's got a good track record, and it'll be very interesting to see how he performs. I think I don't know how much he'll have to do with January, if I'm being completely honest. But he's a town fan. He's worked here for 10 years before that, from 2009 to 2017. So he knows the club. He kind of knows the infrastructure. So I think it's a good appointment.
You did an Aluko there, didn't you? Got your numbers right there, Steve. Worked for the club for 10 years, 2009 to 2017.
8 years, whatever. Clip it up.
Stephen Aluko. Cal, what do you?
Michael Owen all night as Callum.
So we've got Stephen Aluko. Okay. Anyway, Cal, what do you make of having a sporting director?
I think it's ultimately a good decision, but the proof will be in the pudding. Like we say, we've got to see ultimately what remit is given. Sporting director is a good title, but what does it actually mean in terms of what will be taken away from Lee Grant and what will be given to Markham, what else will be given to him from other facets of the club that free them up to do other things? Ultimately, I think it's a good idea. But is it a bit of a climb down from the powers that be that decided that we didn't need
Point to climb down.
sort of executive positions at the club, that we could just employ someone to run the footballing side and then someone to run the business side? Well, actually, no, you do need that conduit between. So it's a bit of a climb down from those in charge, but I think it's a good move. He's got a good CV, knows the club. He's been here for 25 to 30 years. So, you know, good stuff.
So I'm going to put my two pennies as well as Mark as well. We need a sporting director to put a coherent plan in place, support a rookie manager. Makes a good point there. And comments as well, everyone viewing, make sure you get your predictions in for the next two games, which is Lincoln and Cardiff, sorry, not Northampton. Sporting director for me is a must. It really is a must. They have to come up with an identity that the club and a philosophy that the fans can get on board with. That has to be taken from what the fans want across to the board, then onto the players and the coaching staff. Players, coaching staff that come into the club have to get on with that identity and that philosophy. Managers can play it not very differently, sorry. I'm going to rephrase that. Managers can use it a little bit differently here and there, but they have to work to an identity that suits the whole of the club. And this is from top to bottom in terms of academy. This is going from the under-8s to the under-21s that they've got. They have to have that system. They've got to know what's happening as they move their way up. We have to see it in the women's team as well. It has to be the same. Because otherwise, you're all going in different kind of directions. And hopefully now we can have that clear-cut thing. And as Cal says, as you say, Lee can now focus on more on what's happening on the field. You know, players can come in, players can go. That's now the sporting director. Get the right people in for the right time and allow the coaching staff to coach. I think that is it's been a must, hasn't it? And I'm happy to see one coming.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think let's just hope that Lee Grant does concentrate on the coaching and can get us in some sort of, you know, winning run again. That's what I would say.
I'm sure we can. Right, okay. So we've had his little talk about his sporting director. I'm glad we're all in agreement that it's a good thing. We've got some comments in. We've got Ian. Ian's got putting in for Cardiff. We've got Nana Paul. We've got Terry at 9:30. So thank you for putting them in. So let's go through. Ian's gone for the Cardiff one straight up. He's going 4-0 to Cardiff. Nana Paul has gone Lincoln 1, Town 4, and Cardiff 2, Town 1. Progressing the cup we don't care about. Stalling more in the league. And Terry 9:30 has also gone Lincoln 2, Town 0. Cardiff 3, Town 1. So we've had one bit of positivity there. So I guess that's good. Cal
scored a goal in the last one, to be fair.
Yeah, we did as well. Yeah. So Cal, can I have some predictions, please, my friend?
Yeah, so Lincoln in the cup we don't care about. I'm going 2-1 Lincoln.
2-1 Lincoln.
Which I will not be angry with that result because I don't care about it. So there you go. I'll be all right either way. Cardiff. Are we going to Cardiff, or do you want Stephen to do Lincoln and then we both do Cardiff?
No, you can go for it, mate. I'm happy to go for it.
You're not going to be happy with me anyway. I've gone for Cardiff City 3, Huddersfield Town 0.
Okay, thank you. Steve?
Town to win 2-1 at Lincoln in midweek because, of course, we'll go and win a game that nobody cares about. And then at the weekend, you're also not going to be happy with me. Town 1, Cardiff City 4. I think we'll get battered. I do.
It's either going to be a statement or a club statement. It's going to be one of the two.
Corner flag image after Cardiff. Markham sacked.
Wow. Okay, Jed's gone for Cardiff 2, Town 1. We need to make a statement at the weekend. Gents, we all know Town are going to win both games 3-1. That it's just going to happen. So we just know that. So let's try and end on a positive after, okay, 2 disappointing results, but we had a great positive week the week before. Let's end it on that, eh? Anyone got any final comments, gents?
Can I bet you some collateral that doesn't happen?
No.
What?
No.
Go on.
I was going to say, can I bet you some really loads of money that doesn't happen so that I can make loads of money?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of money, unfortunately, pal. If I did, I'd do that for you.
You know what? Kane's gone and said that we're going to win 3-1 in both games, and I'll give you odds of 3-1 that doesn't happen.
They're not bad odds then.
Yeah.
Okay, gents, thank you very much for joining us. And as always, I've got to say this at some point. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and guys, you've already commented on the comments as well. So that's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Carl and Steve. I hope you have a wonderful week. And I'm looking forward to chatting to you next Sunday when we talk about 2 victories for Town, progressing in the cup and beating Cardiff away. So let's cheers to that one. So have a lovely week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, we shall see thee.